Testing, testing, testing. Mic check, mic check. Can y'all hear me? Great morning, great morning. Hope y'all having a beautiful day, a beautiful morning. So thankful that God blessed us to see another day. Good morning. How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? Uh, I'm continuing my videos, and I welcome to you all to my live. Just a little backstory. God placed this on my heart to just start reading. Because I come from the understanding, or I come from the mindset that the Bible can be difficult to read, especially when it comes to the King James version. So I found a version on the Bible app, and it's the ERV version, which is the easy to read version, and so it makes it in more modern word sentences. Um, so I decided to do that to help the people that maybe the reading the Bible can be a turnoff when it comes to like how difficult it is. So you read a few things and you don't understand, so you just put it down. So I wanna reach out to those people that maybe they didn't understand before, but I want to encourage you to try again. Pick up the Bible, read it in a different translation. Maybe try reading it in the children's version, the NLT, or even like the version I'm reading in the ERV. Um, and it gives you more of a understanding, more of a breakdown of what it is saying in today's time. Okay, so I'm going to be reading from Genesis 8, 9, 10, and 11. And Genesis 8, the title is The Flood Ends. Oh, just to give a backstory too, that we stopped at in the story of Noah, where um, God made the rain, made he flooded the earth and made it rain for 40 days and 40 nights. And so now we pick up here. Noah has all the animals and everything in the boat, everything on the land basically died. And so that whole thing happened, and now we're here. But God did not forget about Noah. God remembered him and all the animals that were in the boat, with him in the boat. God made a wind blow over the earth, and all the water began to disappear. Rain stopped falling from the sky, and rain and water stopped flowing from under the earth. The water that covered the earth began to go down. After 150 days, the water was low enough that the boat touched land again. The boat stopped on one of the mountains in Ararat. This was the 17th day of the seventh month. The water continued to go down, and by the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were above the water. 40 days later, Noah opened the window he had made in the boat. Then he sent a raven. The raven flew from place to place until the ground was dry and the water was gone. Noah also sent out a dove. He wanted to find dry ground. He wanted to know if water still covered the earth. The dove could not find a place to rest because water still covered the earth. So the dove came back to the boat. Noah reached out his hand and caught the dove and brought it back into the boat. After 7 days, Noah again sent out the dove. In that afternoon, the dove came back to Noah. The dove had a fresh olive leaf in its mouth. This was a sign to show Noah that there was dry ground on the earth. 7 days later, Noah sent the dove out again, but this time the dove didn't come back. After that, Noah opened the door of the boat. He looked and saw that the ground was very dry. This was the first day of the first month of the year. He was 601 years old. By the 27th day of the second month, the ground was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, "Leave the boat. You, your wife, your sons, and your sons' wives should go out now. Bring every living animal out of the boat with you, all the birds, animals, and everything that crawls on the earth. These animals will make many more animals, and they will fill the earth again." So Noah went out with his wife, and his sons' wives. All the animals, everything that crawls, and every bird left the boat. All the animals came out of the boat in family groups. Then Noah built an altar to honor the Lord. Noah took some of the clean birds and some of all the clean bird animals and burned them on the altar as a gift to God. The Lord smelled these sacrifices, and it pleased him. The Lord said to himself, I will never curse the earth. I will never curse the earth as a way to punish people. People are evil from the time they are young, but I will never again destroy every living thing on the earth as I did this time. As long as the earth continues, there will always be a time for planting and a time for harvest. There will always be cold and hot, summer and winter, day and night on earth. Genesis 9. This is titled The New Beginning. God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, have many children. Fill the earth with your people. Every animal on the earth, every bird in the air, every animal that crawls on the ground, and every fish in the sea will be afraid of you. All of them will be under your control. In the past, I gave you the green plants to eat. Now every animal will also be food for you. I give you everything on earth. It is yours. But I give you one command. You must not eat meat that still has life or blood in it. Also, I will demand your blood for your lives. That is, I will demand the life of any person or animal that takes a human life. God made humans to be like himself. So whoever kills a person must be killed by another person. Have many children and fill the earth with your people. Then God said to Noah and his sons, I now make my promise to you and to your people who live after you. I make my promise to all the birds, to all the cattle, and to all the animals that came out of the boat with you. I make my promise to every living thing on the earth. This is my promise to you. All life on the earth was destroyed by the flood, but that would never again happen, or that will never happen again. A flood will never again destroy all life on the earth. God said, I will give you something to prove that I made this promise to you. It will continue forever to show that I have made an agreement with you and every living thing on earth. I am putting a rainbow in the clouds as proof of the agreement between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, you will see the rainbow in the clouds. When I when I see this rainbow, I remember the agreement between me and you and every living thing on the earth. This agreement says that a flood will never again destroy all life on the earth. When I look and see the rainbow in the clouds, I will remember the agreement that continues forever. I will remember the agreement between me and every living thing on earth. So God said to Noah, this rainbow is proof of the agreement that I made with all living things on earth. Problems began again. Noah's sons came out of the boat with him. Their names were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These three men were Noah's sons, and all the people on earth came from these three sons. Noah became a farmer and planted a vineyard. One day Noah said, One day Noah made some wine. He got drunk, went into his tent, and took off all his clothes. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw that his father was naked and told his brothers who were outside the tent. Shem and Japheth took a robe and put it across their shoulders and walked backward into the tent. Then they covered their father without looking at him. Later, Noah woke up. He was sleeping because of the wine. When he learned that his youngest son Ham had done when he learned what his youngest son Ham had done to him, he said, May there be a curse on Canaan. May he be a slave to his brother. Noah also said, May the Lord, the God of Shem be praised. May Canaan be Shem's slave. May God give more land to Japheth. May God live in Shem's tents, and may Canaan be their slave. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. He lived a total of 950 years, then he died. Okay, so Genesis 10, and this is titled Nations Grow and Spread. And then it gets into Japheth's descendants. This is the history of the families of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. They are Noah's sons. These men have children after the flood. Okay, so y'all gonna have to bear with me because these names, these names, these biblical names, be tough, but I'm gonna try. So Japheth's descendants. Japheth's sons were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Japhon, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. Gomer's sons were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. Japhon's sons were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. All the people who lived in the area of the Mediterranean Sea came from these sons of Japheth. The people separated and went to different countries according to languages, families, and nations. Ham's descendants. Ham's sons were Cush, Bazariam, Put, and Canaan. Cush's sons were Seba, Havliah, Sabta, Ramah, and Sabteka. Ramah's sons were Sheba and Dedan. Cush also had a son named Nimrod, who became a very powerful man on earth. He was a great hunter before the Lord. That is why people compare other men to him and say that man is like Nimrod, a great hunter before the Lord. Nimrod's kingdom spread from Babylon to Erech, to Akkad, and then to Calneh in the land of Babylonia. Nimrod also went into Assyria. In Assyria, Nimrod built the cities of Nineveh, Rehoboth, Ir, Calah, and Resen. Resen is the city between Nineveh and Calah, the big city. Mizraim, or Raim, was the father of the people of Lud. Anam, Lehabad, Naphtah, Pathros, Kazlah, and Caphtor. The Philistine people came from Kazlah. Canaan was the father of Sidon. Sidon was Canaan's first son. Canaan was also the father of the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Arkites, and the Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. The families of Canaan spread to different parts of the world. The land where the Canaanites lived went from Sidon down to along the coast of Gerar, and from Gaza as far east as Sodom and Gomorrah, and from Admah and Zeboim as far as north as Laish. All these people were descendants of Ham. They are arranged by families, languages, countries, and nations. Okay, Shem's descendants. Shem was Japheth's older brother. One of Shem's descendants was Eber, the father of all the Hebrew people. Shem's sons was Elam, Asher, Arxith. Remember, these names is tough, y'all. Okay, so bear with me. Lud and Aram. Aram's sons was Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. And then his father was of Shelah. He was the father of Shelah. Shelah was the father of Eber. Eber was the father of two sons. One son was named Peleg. He was given this name because the earth was divided during his life. The other son was named Joktan. Joktan was the father of Alamodad. Shelah, I don't know how you say this H word, Jerah, and that's in Genesis 10, verse 26, for those reading along with me. Okay, and Hadoram, Uzal, I know I'm butchering these names, Dikla, Obal, Abmal, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jabal. All these people were Joktan's sons. They lived in the area between Mesha and the hill country in the east. Mesha was toward the country of Sapha. These are the people from the family of Shem. They are arranged by families, languages, countries, and nations. This is the list of the families from Noah's sons. They are arranged according to their nations. From these families came all the people who spread across the earth. after the flood. Okay, Genesis 11, last chapter for today. The title, The Tower of Babel. There was a time when the whole world spoke one language. Everyone used the same words. Then people began to move from the east. They found a plain, they found a plain in the land of Babylonia, and they stayed there to live. Then they said to each other, "Let's make some bricks of clay and bake them in the fire." Then they used these bricks as stones, and they used tar as mortar. Then the people said, "Let's build ourselves a city and a tower that will reach to the sky. Then we will be famous. This will keep us together so that we will not be scattered all over the earth." Then the Lord came down to see the city and the tower. The Lord said, "These people all speak the same language, and I see that they are joined together to do this work. This is only the beginning of what they can do. Soon they will be able to do anything they want. Let's go down and confuse their language. Then they will not understand each other." So people stopped building the city, and the Lord scattered them all over the earth. That is the place where the Lord confused the language of the whole world. That is why it is called Babel. And it is from there that the Lord caused the people to spread out to all the other places on the earth. The history of Shem's family. This is the history of Shem's family. 2 years after the flood, when Shem was 100 years old, his son Arphaxad was born. After that, Shem lived 500 years. He had other sons and daughters. When Arphaxad was 35 years old, his son Shelah was born. After Shelah was born, he lived 403 years. During that time, he had other sons and daughters. After Shelah was 30 years old, his son Eber was born. After Eber was born, Shelah lived 403 years. During that time, he had other sons and daughters. After Eber was 34 years old, his son Peleg was born. After Peleg was born, Eber lived another 430 years. During that time, he had other sons and daughters. After Peleg was 30 years old, his son Ru was born. After Ru was born, Peleg lived another 209 years. During that time, he had other sons and daughters. After Ru was 32 years old, his son Serug was born. After he was born, Ru lived another 207 years. During that time, he had other sons and daughters. So after Serug was 30 years old, his son Nahor was born. After Nahor was born, Serug lived another 200 years. During that time, he had other sons and daughters. After Nahor was not 29 years old, his son Terah was born. After Terah was born, Nahor lived another 119 years. During that time, he had other sons and daughters. After Terah was born, was 70 years old, his sons Abram, Nahor, and Haran was born. And this is the history of Terah's family. This is the history of Terah's family. Terah was the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran was the father of Lot. Haran died in his hometown, Ur of Babylonia. While his father Terah was still alive, Abram and Nahor both married. Abram's wife was named Sarah or Sarah. Nahor's wife was named Milcah. Milcah was the daughter of Haran. Haran was the father of Milcah and Iscah. Sarai did not have any children because she was not able to have children. Terah took his family and left Ur of Babylonia. They planned to travel to Canaan. Terah took his son Abram, his grandson Lot, Haran's son, and his daughters-in-law Sarah or Sarai, Abram's wife. They traveled to the city of Haran and decided to stay there. Terah lived to be 205 years old. He died in Haran. Okay, that was the end. One of the things that I really wanted to point out in Genesis, like right after the flood, once we see um, once we see Noah completes his assignment and the water fully, you know, um, evaporates and goes back to where it's supposed to be. um, we see Noah walk out with the animals, and he immediately um, made a sacrifice to the Lord to show his thankfulness, to show his faithfulness to God. And it's interesting, really interesting to see. I know a lot of people don't know, didn't know the meaning of the rainbow. And so the rainbow is a promise that God made to Abraham and to all the animals and to us that he'll never flood or he'll never destroy or flood the earth like he did then. And so every time we see a rainbow, that's to show, that's to remind us and to remind God of the promise that he gave us. And it's so interesting when we get into the world now, how the rainbow has a different connotation. You got um, the LGBTQ community. I don't want to put everybody in one thing, but for the people or whoever created the rainbow to be their symbol, um, they're taking it in a different context than what God made it to be. Um, and so that really stuck out to me because if you don't read your Bible, you wouldn't even know that the rainbow was a representation of the promise that God made to us. And that's huge. Like that's a huge mindset, opening your mindset. Okay. And so another thing, let's see, what was it? See, it was a lot of names in the Bible does that in some of the books where it talks about the history of the people. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Um, Whenever Noah was drunk with wine and went to sleep naked, I really want to understand the concept of, and see, this is the thing. It's okay to ask questions or to have questions about the Bible, and like I think it's a perception that if you question the Bible, you feel less than, and that's not the case. But I did have a question about this. When Noah went to sleep naked, I was really trying to figure out what exactly did Canaan do wrong to go in there and cover him up. Like that's a interesting question. And then Noah went and cursed him. Um, or that's an interesting thought process. Like I don't necessarily know what exactly he did wrong. Um, but maybe I can find some answers to that to see if it's maybe it was like in that time frame something that was part of culturally, culturally a mistake to make or something like that. But yeah, but yeah, that's the end of today. Um, it's really cool to learn more, about the Bible when you read how much wisdom you gain from it. And we this is only day three, and there's so much the Bible has. Like it's so full, it's so massive, so huge. And so we're gonna read through each one of these. I'm gonna try my best with these names because it's all a part of the history and part of the story of the Bible. So it's important to know like who you're talking about. It's important to know the characters. Um, so yeah, but y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. I appreciate you for watching. And I'll see you again in the next video. Peace.